Cubbies, it's Mrs. Karen and I am back for story time with you. Do you have your favorite snuggly animal or blanket with you? Are you ready? All right, let's see what is going on with Timothy today. And it says Timothy tied the last piece of string on his little boat. He had made it from sticks and string and a scrap of cloth. "Cubbie, come look," shouted Timothy. Cubbie slid down from his favorite apple tree and ran to the woodshed. "Do you like it?" asked Timothy as he showed off his boat. "It's the best boat ever," said Cubbie, hopping excitedly. "Let's go to the water and see if it floats," Timothy suggested. Timothy and Cubbie set off down the path to Cubbie Bear Creek, which Timothy had named, of course, after his best friend Cubbie Bear. "Ruff, ruff!" Katie Collie raced after them. "Where are you going?" she asked. "We're going to the creek to see if my boat floats," said Timothy. He held up his boat proudly. "The creek is too far from the house. Didn't your dad say not to go down there without him?" Katie reminded. "Yes," said Timothy slowly, thinking, "but we'll only be there a minute. You wait here, Katie. I'll teach you some new dog tricks when I get back." Cubbie and Timothy started down the path again, hopping and jumping, because it was a hopping and jumping sort of day. They sang a little song as they went. "Here we go down to the Cubbie Bear Creek, Cubbie Bear Creek, Cubbie Bear Creek. Here we go down to the Cubbie Bear Creek to see if our boat will float." Katie trailed softly behind to keep an eye on them. Oh, look, let me show you this picture. So we've got Timothy and Cubbie, and there's his little boat. And look, there's Katie Collie in the background keeping an eye on things. What do we think's gonna happen? Let's go on and see. Timothy knelt by the creek and set his little boat in the water. "Hey, it floats!" shouted Timothy with glee. He looked at Cubbie, but Cubbie was running to another boat. It was a much bigger boat. "Cubbie, that's Dad's fishing boat," said Timothy. "Dad rests it there on the shore when he takes a break." "Wow, can we play in it?" Cubbie asked. Cubbie climbed into the boat and sat near the front. "If you catch me, you can be the captain." Timothy ran over to the boat and tried to tag Cubbie, but Cubbie smiled and slid to the back of the boat. Timothy laughed and reached for Cubbie, but Cubbie scooted to the front again. They played this game until Timothy finally made a giant leap for Cubbie. Timothy tumbled into the boat, and the boat pushed out into the water. "Uh-oh," said Timothy. Timothy and Cubbie looked at each other with big eyes. Instead of floating a toy boat on Cubbie Bear Creek, they were now floating in a real boat on Cubbie Bear Creek. "What should we do?" asked Timothy. Said Cubbie, thinking. "Maybe we should enjoy the ride for a while." Cubbie pointed to a fish swimming close to the boat. "There's a fish over there too," said Timothy. Suddenly, a fish flipped out of the water. "That's 3 fish," said Timothy. "Let's see how many we can count." 4 fish, 5 fish. Cubbie leaned out of the boat and tried to catch a fish between his paws. "That's not the way I catch fish," said Timothy. "I use a pole like this." Timothy picked up Dad's fishing pole. Then he remembered he didn't know how to work it. I don't think we'll be catching fish today," said Timothy, "but let's keep enjoying the ride." All right, now I'm going to stop there, and then we will pick up next week and see what happens. But it seems to me our Timothy and Cubbie could be getting themselves into some trouble because they did not obey the rules. But we'll wait and see next week, okay? Bye, Cubbies.